Let's cut. Okay, so it's been about a month since I was out in eastern Montana near Glendive rock hounding on some beautiful dried up creek beds. If you haven't watched those videos yet, you can click right here and watch them. Today, I've got a bunch of the best finds from those videos right here for us to cut open on my lapidary saw so we can see what sort of beautiful agate goodness is inside. And to get us started, I've already cut 2 of them, just so we can get a little agate appetizer going. Let's take a look at these 2 pieces and then we're gonna load some others up in the saw. We're gonna get cutting and then hopefully we can also do some polishing of these pieces and just see what sort of beautiful agate magic we can make. Okay, so I've got these 2 pieces here. Let's start by looking at this one. Beautiful Montana agate. I want to say it's fracture free, although it's hard to say for sure. Check this piece out, wet. Oh, it's so pretty. And here's the other side. Oh, look at some of those, the orange color on the outside of that piece. That is just beautiful. This one is really cool. You could tell, I can't remember which video this one was from, but it was totally dark on the outside, right? You would never look at this and think, oh my gosh, well, obviously I did, so you can. But check out what's on the inside. Look at that. Beautiful Montana agate. There's even a little bit of waterline banding in there near that little central geode quartz pocket. It's a beautiful mossy blue, mossy orange material there. And this one this is the other half. I've actually been playing around with this piece on my new polishing machine, which we will take a look at a little bit later in the video. Oh, super cool. I hope that gets you excited because it gets me excited. Now we got to pick out what we're going to cut next. And what I'm thinking is we'll get 1 piece on the saw. When that piece is done, I'll show you what's inside of that piece while we get the next piece going. So on, so forth. At some point, we're probably gonna have to check on Kip, see what he's doing, you know, that sort of thing. So let's pick what we're gonna cut next. I think I'm leaning towards this one. You can see this is, I believe this was from the last video out creek hounding, and it's got this beautiful banding pattern. So my goal here is to cut across this to expose the biggest face possible to make a nice specimen out of it. So let's go ahead and take this baby over into the saw. I'm gonna go ahead and get it set up. We can get cutting. All right, we have got this one ready to rock and roll. All set up in our vise. Let's cut. Maybe we should go see what Kip's doing. I think that's a fantastic thing to do while we're waiting for this first cut. Oh, there he is. Kip! The people wanted to see you. You're out here having a nap on the patio? Oh, okay. You're very... Uh-oh! Sprinklers! Sorry about that, buddy. You okay? Okay, we have to choose our next victim here. Oh, and I honestly feel like any of these could be epic, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with this one, primarily because of that little just sneak peek window right there. We're gonna go ahead and get this loaded up in the saw, and then we're gonna take a look at the agate that's hiding in there. Okay, so before we get that other piece going here, I wanted to show you this one that I just cut. You ready for this? Oh, beautiful Montana agate banding. Couple little fractures, super smooth cut. Oh, I just love that. There's the front side, or the back side, sorry. Here's the other smaller specimen. I didn't feel like I could cut it equally in half because I wanted to preserve as much of the full face as I could. Really happy with the way that turned out. And now we can move on to the next cut. And I don't think we're gonna bother messing with Kip. He might be a little traumatized from last time. Okay, we've made some pretty good progress in the last day or so. I've been able to cut about 4 more agates, and we have 5 or 6 more left to do. I want to show you the ones that I've cut so that we can move forward to cutting some of the bigger pieces that I have here. Let's take a look. All right, so here are the 4 pieces I've cut. I'm just gonna go ahead and start showing you. Let's go ahead and get them wet here so you can really get the full effect. This one had some banding on the outside, so of course thinking and seeing some banding on the inside. It's gonna be a really fun one to polish up as a specimen. A little fractured. I really like the shape here. It's almost got like an arrow shape to it. You can see like the fins and the like arrowhead there. I think that's really cool. Super cool. All right. This was kind of an interesting one. You know, some of these darker agates are really tough to read. And of course, you never know what you're really gonna get into when you cut them open. This one had a lot of color. I mean, just look at that. The vibrant orange and really dark black. I have a feeling, I mean, I might try to make a specimen out of one side, maybe this side here, but I really think that these colors could make for some cool calves. All right. This one might be my favorite, although the next one's pretty good too. Also, this one had some activity on the outside of the rock, some windows in there, and look at that. Super cool. So a really interesting sort of quartz geode pocket in there, quartz pocket, some banding, some moss, just really sort of like atypical, unique, and there's even a little bit of blue color in there too. This will make a really nice specimen. And here's the other side, which I think is probably the better of the two. Just a little bit more definition, a little bit more color, a little bit more banding right in there. Absolutely beautiful. You could probably look forward to seeing one or both of those up on Etsy at some point. The next one I actually slabbed because I saw the potential. So here's some of the pieces that I got out of slabbing it, and it's amazingly pretty fracture free. So you can imagine making some cool cabs out of this, which is what I intend to do. I'm planning to start doing some cabs here in the coming months, certainly this winter. Here's the end piece, which I think will probably end up getting tumbled at some point. The primary chunk that's left here, again, a super dark piece, which, you know, of course you can tell that it's got the orange color in there, the blacks. I don't know if I'm gonna bother trying to make this into one specimen because I almost think before I even do that, it might be worth trying to get a couple more slabs off of it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. So that's what we've got so far. We've got all of these pieces here, plus the ones back there, and we still have these pieces here. So these are the bigger pieces that I've got to cut with you guys. I think I'm gonna start with this one. And this one I really want to show you because I think it has the potential to be really interesting. It has a little fortification in there, and there's clues on top to suggest that the fortification continues into the rock. So I'm going to make a test cut across the face, and hopefully that fortification still in there. Hopefully it starts getting bigger, and hopefully we can chase it in there a little bit and make a cool specimen out of it. So this will be our next one. We've also got this guy. Really beautiful colors in there. Just check that out. And then I've even got a couple pieces of petrified wood here that I'm gonna slab. We've got this big agate. So I think there's a lot of fun left to be had here. Let's get this piece loaded up in the slab saw and find out what's inside of it. All right, I have finally finished cutting. It's actually the night that I'm going to edit this video together. It's been a long week. It's been balancing, juggling a lot of stuff. Been getting the boat ready tonight because we're gonna be floating on the river tomorrow and doing some rock hounding. But I just finished cutting the last piece that I wanted to cut. I got several more here for us to take a look at. I don't think we're gonna be getting polishing done in this video, so I'm planning to get some of these pieces polished on this fun new machine that I need to introduce you to. We're gonna do that in a future video. So hang tight for that. But let's take a look at what I got in the saw, and then we can take a look at everything else. All right, well, let's take a look here. I was kind of wondering if this was gonna be a mossy one. And yes, indeed it is. So I'm probably gonna end up taking at least a slab or two off of this sucker. Let that run. But I just cut, this is kind of what the outside looks there. Just a beautiful moss agate. Lots of green color in there. Just beautiful. Hopefully can make some really cool calving material out of that. Let's take a look at some of these other pieces. All right, here's where I've got everything all set up for you guys. Oh, here's a new little addition to the agate angler lapidary family. More videos coming with this beast here soon. But let's take a look at these. All right, we are gonna start with this beauty. I cut this one and got a slab off of it as well. I'm gonna go ahead and get it wet here. This was actually one from the thumbnail from the video on the creek, the last video on the creek. So if you want to see this one being found, you could look right there. Check that out though. It kind of just speaks for itself. Here's our slab from in there. I think that's going to make a beautiful cabochon or two. Some really cool moss dendrites in there. Gorgeous. And then I'm planning to get a specimen out of this. I love this little sort of like, it almost looks like a little mossy worm right there. Super cool. Awesome there. Next up, I think we're going to do this one. It's really vivid orange moss agate. Getting it wet here. Take a look at that. And if you look close, you can see there's some banding in there. So again, I'm planning to, look at that little fortification corner right there where my thumb is. Unfortunately a little fractured, but you know what? Still gotta love it. Just beautiful. Two really beautiful pieces. Okay, next, this interesting one, this treasure state agate. I was really hoping that as I cut into this, we were going to see more of this banding. That was not the case. We kept working into it, little banding on that side, a little banding in there, a little bit more on that side, and then it kind of pittered out. Still a really cool piece of brecciated jasper. And I think those slabs could, oh, you know, it could have a little lapidary purpose. Could make for some cool tumbling material. But man, I was really hoping that was gonna pay off. Just not quite. But hey, that's how it goes, right? Change it up a little bit with a piece of petrified wood. Got a lot of petrified wood out there. I'm agate angler, so of course I'm going to focus on the agates, but hey, this is cool. And I think it's going to polish up really nice. I just love that kind of gray color. You can really make out the tree rings in there. Just a really beautiful piece. So this one, certainly going to get polished. Certainly going to end up on Etsy for purchase here. Can look forward to a polishing video here soon. For some of these, probably not all of them. I got to be careful not to bite off more than I can chew. This one, unfortunately, a little bit of a dud. Big agate. I'm just going to use this water here on the table. I mean, every agate's beautiful in its own way, but this one didn't have a whole lot going on. I could have kept cutting it, but I was on a little bit of a time crunch, so I decided not to. Might put a polish on this face. We'll see. We'll see. Then lastly, we had this guy here. Little fractured again, but it's got a nice little fortification in there, some mossiness around the outside. Yeah, two or three little, no, I shouldn't say little, 2 or 3 little fractures in there. I said little again. And of course the slabs, because of the fractures, sort of mixed results. Certainly have some potential at a bare minimum. Often this stuff turns out pretty cool when you tumble it. You know, if you kind of break the fractures, break them apart, tumble them. But you know, like a piece like this, or even like this, could certainly be shaped into something. And there's the inside for you there. And then here's another look at that moss agate that I'm going to keep slabbing that one. Well, there you have it. I think all in all, that was pretty fun. I'm enjoying these cutting videos. I'm trying to kind of get in my rhythm. I hope you enjoy them. I tried purposefully in this video to do a little less like cutting filler and focusing more on the rocks. If you enjoyed that, if you would like to see more of the cutting process, let me know. One of the things I'm really excited to have this 10-inch trim saw for is that I'll be able to make cutting content a lot faster. I don't have to wait for the trim or for the slab saw to cut. I can just kind of push things through, wear some protective equipment so I'm not breathing in the vapors, and I think it'll just make for a faster process. So you can look forward to some pretty cool cutting content coming here soon. I've been holding on to some pretty sweet material that I'm excited to cut with you guys. Do have a couple lapidary packs up on the Etsy store right now for those of you who are interested or waiting on that. Those are going to be kind of coming and going. And I'm also going to be putting up, probably on Sunday, a kind of a mishmash saw seconds pack that's just going to be a bunch of slabs or ends cut off of specimens. Some cool stuff in there. A lot of practical uses. That's going to be popping up on Etsy sometime in the next week. So if you're interested in that, keep your eyes peeled. Thanks again for your support. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.